Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Mishka and welcome to another episode of the series review. Yes, I did come up with that title, but I realized I didn't have a title for the series that I'm going to be doing, which basically is just me coming on here and rating the series that I finished so far and giving you guys basically the recs on whether you should read it or not. I've done it. The first one was the Knockout series, and now we are moving on to the Vancouver Storm series by Stephanie Archer. So this series is an entire hockey series, and it basically takes place in Vancouver in Canada, and the Vancouver Storm is the name of the hockey team, and it follows five of the characters slash the hockey players. We've got the goalkeeper in the first one, then we've got the cocky little captain, then we've got the sunshine character that we love, and then we have the grumpy enforcer, and the last one is the one that takes place with the coach. So without further ado, let's get into the reviews, the synopsis, and whether you should read this series. I must say that I do think the series is very underrated, just because Stephanie first originally self-published the series and then it got picked up for trade, and I feel like a lot of books that get picked up for trade once they're self-published, a lot of people don't know about them. Like, a lot of people don't know that they are available or there. I feel like it's so different when your book gets picked up immediately and it hasn't been published yet, but that's just like my opinion, and that is why I will never keep quiet about the series. Like, I love it so much. And the second reason is that this series was my first ever ARC opportunity. Like, a few years ago I was looking to literally start reading ARCs. I don't know why, and I just went on random PR pages. I went on author pages, indie authors, and I just would apply in their website. And for some reason my first ARC came from Stephanie, and it was The Fake Out, which was the second book in the series. And so naturally I had to go on my Kindle and I went to go and read the first book, which was Behind the Net, and I ended up loving this book. This was fantastic. Grumpy meets Sunshine. He is the goalkeeper, as you can see, and she is a singer, but then she ends up being his assistant, and they end up falling in love. And apparently they also went to high school together, and then he has just been in love with her ever since, and she also kind of liked him, but she obviously was like, I can't get him. And this book was truly something. I absolutely loved it. And then I got the opportunity to read the ARC from Stephanie, which is The Fake Out. And then while at this point she was still self-publishing, by the way, and then while I read it, she had this competition where if you post about the book you could win stuff. And at that time I was still on TikTok and I just posted my reactions like a crazy person, and then she ended up DMing me saying that I won, and she sent me a signed copy. This is obviously, as you can see, it's the indie version. She sent me a signed copy, and she sent me a bunch of goodies with it, which I will try and include later on. I forgot to actually get it. But yeah, then this was the second book. It was Rory and Hazel's book. I'm not going to lie, I feel like I enjoyed this one way more than this. I will get into ratings earlier. I just kind of want to give you a feel of the series. And then yeah, The Fake Out, this is the second one. This is one that I read as an ARC. And from there, I just fell in love with Stephanie's writing. This one is kind of sunshine meets sunshine, but it's also enemies to lovers, because Hazel does not like Rory, and Rory is this cocky guy, and Rory and this one, Jamie, they are also best friends, or they were best friends. And then Hazel and Pippa, the two female characters, they are sisters. So these four all apparently went to high school together, two sisters and then two best friends, and then something happened between the boys and they ended up being kind of rivals. And then at the end of this book, Rory gets traded to the Vancouver Storm, which means that they're obviously now in the same team, Jamie and Rory, and there's just beef happening, and it was just a fun read. And the found family already starts in Behind the Net, with them going to the Filthy Flamingo, which we'll get into later. So yeah, those are the first two books. And then I was basically, because I got the ARC for The Fake Out and I kind of submitted my reviews, I was then basically allowed to apply for all of Stephanie's ARCs, which is crazy. And it was slightly after the fake out came out. If I'm not mistaken, I could stand corrected. It was either the fake out or the wingman, when she kind of got picked up. And then next thing I saw, she was getting like her books were gonna get published, and I could actually buy them in South Africa, so that was great. And then I got the wingman as an arc, and yeah, I do believe that when I was done reading the arc, I could buy this in store. So it was right after the fake out when she got like picked up by a publisher. And the wingman follows Mr. Hayden, who is in love with his best friend's girlfriend slash Beyonce, and her name is Darcy. So these two and another guy, they go way back. He was on the Vancouver Storm. She dated his best friend, and they end up getting engaged. And then at the end of the fake out, she ends up basically breaking the engagement off, and she has nowhere to go, and she obviously ends up living with Hayden because they're best friends, but they actually are in love with each other. And then he kind of wingmans her into dating again, but then he actually just like ends up telling her that he loves her. And this was so sweet. Once again, these two are not my faves, I won't lie. I like the behind the net. I like a grumpy like MMC, I don't know why, but these two are great. Like, I love them. Not my faves in the series. We are getting to my faves. And then the fourth book, which I don't have, I have to still buy it. Obviously, I arc read it, guys, because now I'm like an avid Stephanie Archer arc reader. Even though she's getting like traditionally published, I can still apply to her arcs. It's not available through Netgalley, which I actually love. So I got Gloves off. I will insert the cover here. And this book follows our enforcer Alexei Polkov. I love him. And the team's like doctor, she's kind of a Dr. Georgia, sorry. And this is the real enemies to lovers. Alexei is obviously, he's older than all the guys. He's close to retirement, and she I think she's a bit younger than him. And they kind of, initially when they meet, they are attracted to each other, but then something happens and it's kind of like a tiff, and then they end up just like not speaking for a while. They end up being enemies, and then something happens where she needs to get her inheritance, and he needs to keep basically citizenship because he's not Canadian, and they end up having a marriage of convenience. She needs the money, he needs the papers, and they end up living together. And oh my goodness, this was hands down my favorite book. Obviously, by the time I read it, I was like, I love it, love them, and I love enemies to lovers. I was not a fan of enemies to lovers before this, so when I read the book, I was like, okay, fine. The last book which I recently read was The Wild Card. It follows Coach Tate Ward and the bar owner. I can't get to her name now. Oh my gosh, I really can't. But she basically owns the bar, and she owns this bar that kind of comes in from behind the net, the Fourth Flamingo, which is what they kind of introduced the whole team to, because she works there and she is the boss's daughter, the boss of Vancouver Storm, but no one knows it. Like, besides Tate, no one knows that she owns the boss. I need to get a name because this is actually working on nerves. So let me just go and get my phone so I can get the name. I don't know why I had the name in my head, but I didn't want to say it because I thought I was going to be wrong. But her name is Jordan. Jordan owns the Fourth Flamingo. We are introduced to it in the first book, Behind the Net, because Tate introduces the whole team to it. Tate has been checking up on Jordan since the first book because Jordan has a strained relationship with the father who owns the Vancouver Storm, and no one knows it besides Tate and Jordan. So he kind of checks up on her, and then the bar just kind of, the team just kind of follows into the bar, and they end up having this whole like family vibe thing going on there. That's kind of like their home away from home. If they're not at home, that's like the entire Vancouver Storm team. And yeah, that is basically the synopsis of the series and the characters that they follow. So let's go into my ratings and see what I got it for. Behind the Net, I gave it 5 stars, which typical because I actually liked it. I actually loved the book, and yeah, the spice rating was 4.75. like, I really enjoyed this book. It was such a great start to the series. Like, I could not recommend it any further. Like, I really loved it. And then let's go into the fake out, which was my first arc read, by the way. I'm pretty sure I also gave this 5 stars, even though, like, right now looking back, it probably didn't feel like it doesn't feel now like a 5 story, but I know once I read it, if I go and read it, I'll be like, oh, I love this book. So this one also ended up being a 5-star read. And then the Wingman, probably also 5-star because yeah, 5-star. And my review says beautifully written, filled with panda spice that is utterly swoon worthy. So all three of the first books I've given 5 stars to, and unfortunately I am a sucker for 5 stars. Like if a book is gonna make me melt, I'm gonna give it 5 stars. So those ones were 5 stars, but out of the three, I would definitely recommend Behind the Net. I don't know, that book just kind of stays in, it stood into my head, it's like still there. And then for Gloves Off, like I said, The Enemies to Lovers, The Magical Convenience, The My Wife got me 5 stars easily. I loved that book. And then for The Wild Card as well, I gave it 5 stars just because it was the end of the series and it was just, we got a glimpse of the Vancouver Storm that we didn't get in the rest of the books, because the rest of the books just kind of followed the hockey players, but the Wild Card took us into depth on like the background and the management and all of that, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, let's get into tropes. For Behind the Net, the trope is grumpy sunshine and forced proximity, and also like I feel like it's always been you, because he always low-key had a crush on her, and found family because they end up finding this Vancouver Storm Series family that I really love. And then for the fake out, I would say it's sunshine meets sunshine. Forced proximity too, because they both end up working for the Vancouver Storm Series, and a little bit of fake dating because they want to make her ex-boyfriend jealous. For the Wingman, we have a sunshine kind of male character. I don't want to place Darcy in a grumpy or sunshine. I just feel like she's just the perfect character. And we have forced proximity because they end up living together. Also friends to lovers because they were friends since college. And then friends with benefits because he ends up like basically helping her get her groove back, and then they end up dating. So yeah, and also found family, guys. Found family in these books is fantastic. And then for the fourth book, Gloves Off, it is a enemies to lovers slow burn. Like yeah, there's spice in between, but they literally like push each other to the brink of it, and it's so fun to read. Marriage of convenience because they both like need to get something out of this marriage. Forced proximity because they end up like living together. And then yeah, obviously the found family, which kind of travels right through the book series. And then for the last book, The Wild Card, we have owner's daughter, ex-coach. He is a single dad. There is an age gap. There's forced proximity because Jordan ends up living in the cottage that is like on his property. He likes everyone but her. And it's Black Cat X Golden Retriever. If you have gotten this far and you're like, Mishka, should I read the series? Yes, 100% yes. If you like sports romance, if you like hockey romance, and if you like found family, then definitely check out the Vancouver Storm series by Stephanie Archer. You won't regret it. I promise you that you won't. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!